As much as I hate working under one, a manager is important. They lead the team and coordinate their workers. Without them, nothing would get done. I always hear people ask, who works the grill when SpongeBob is gone? But nobody ever questions the leadership of the Krusty Krab. So, who would be the best manager?
We got the cheapest crew in the world! You, me, and SpongeBob! Speaking of which, where is the little barnacle?
I don't think it's much of a shock to say Mr. Krabs is a bad boss. Frankly, I don't even know how to start this section. He sold SpongeBob's soul to the Flying Dutchman for 62 cents. This lines up with all the bosses I've ever had. I really don't think you can get worse than Eugene. His insatiable greed is his downfall. He literally bills his employees for breathing and standing. According to Mr. Krabs, existence itself is worth a measly $2. Speaking of Squid on strike, when his only 2 employees unionize, he just hires teenagers. Imagine you are given the Leonardo da Vinci of hamburgers and you let him get away. Colossal greed cannot describe this. It's just straight incompetence. The worst part? This has happened multiple times. SpongeBob has been fired or forcibly put on break at least 3 times in the series. The original fry cook, Jim, came before Sponge and also made a perfect patty. Why'd he leave? Krabs refused to give him a raise. This bilge rat is so lucky SpongeBob is gullible and doesn't care about the money. When Krabs wants something, he will get it. Need I remind you of the fishing trip from Clams? The one that lasted at bare minimum 3 days? The one where Krabs, A, lost his millionth dollar and went insane, and B, threw out every single sandwich except for one and then nailed it to the post of the ship. You want this guy to be your boss? He will genuinely break arms for a penny. The real sad part is, under that crustaceous shell of avarice, he does care for his crew. I mean, even in Clams, before the sandwich crucifixion, he says the following.
A captain's nothing without his loyal crew. I mean, a crew like you comes along maybe once in a lifetime.
Being a sailor for the Navy or swashbuckler for a pirate crew, whichever history it is that week, Mr. Krabs understands loyalty. He backed up SpongeBob 100% during Bubble Bass's reign of terror in Pickles, and if you've seen the latest movie, he goes above and beyond to help him. Is all of that due to SpongeBob being the Michelangelo of patty flipping? Yeah, but it's at least something. In Season 8's Accidents Will Happen, the entire plot occurs because of Krabs cutting corners. I'd like to say, in addition to evading the undersea equivalent of OSHA, he launches his own private investigation against Squidward who got injured on the job. This is an HR volcano, always active and ready to erupt. Before I move on to whatever legal nightmare Krabs does next, I'd like to present you with a clip.
Aren't you gonna wash your...
Alright, I'm moving past that now. Let's see, what else can I rapid fire through that Krabs does? Bets against his own employee in Neptune's Spatula, does that entire mean fishing routine in Hooky, steals SpongeBob's Pretty Patty business, loses SpongeBob to Plankton for a card game, runs the Krusty Krab 24/7, twice, industrializes all of Jellyfish Fields, thinks Squidward stole his stupid dime, builds whatever the halibut Krabby Land is. Guys, this list can last for hours. I don't support a boss that enables gambling in his own restaurant. Okay, so Krabs sold his moral compass for $1. If there is one true positive I can give to him as a manager, it'd be his ingenuity. All that greed means he doesn't want to spend his cash. He produces the Krusty Krab's famous commercial with basically nothing, developed the original Krabby Patty recipe in a dump, and most impressively, he turned a retirement home into a fast food Goliath. The Rusty Krab was a meh location, and one of the many senior homes in town, and Krabs developed it into what we worship today. That's gotta count for something, right? And I'll be honest, if my manager is willing to outright kill a health inspector to save the business, I'd have to respect them. Of course, this immediately fails since he framed SpongeBob for the crime, but let me have my moment. TLDR, Krabs is a bad boss who'd sell my kidney for a crisp 20. Speaking of selling, You know how at the start of that segment I said Krabs was the worst possible manager? I lied. For all his faults, I at least understood Krabs' greed and issues with loyalty. Carl, manager of Krabby Mondays, is nothing but a corporate megaphone. Completely by the book, unempathetic, and having a personality less genuine than that of a SpongeBob content farm, Carl is a devout follower of Howard Blandy, owner of the Blandy Franchising Company. When they said eat the rich, I didn't imagine a sushi platter of all things. Well, actually, yeah, I guess I did, because it's like a rich people food. One of Carl's lines in the episode Selling Out is, and I quote,
Mr. Blandy, code red, free thinker.
Under his leadership, the former Krusty Krab spewed out patties made of barely edible slop. He also introduced human resources. Awesome. The sad part is, he was originally voiced by C.H. Greenblatt. You know, the guy who helped with a ton of classic episodes in addition to creating Chowder? Like, that Chowder? This water cooler talk wimp will never respect you. You should never respect him. I've been pretty negative so far in this video. I want you to hear me out. I think Pearl has the makings of a good boss. Pretty much all of my analysis is based on Season 2's Bossy Boots, the episode where she runs the Cuddly Krab. The difficult part for this section is gauging her leadership qualities, as at the end it's revealed she's been trying to get fired. Pearl doesn't want to oversee the Krusty Krab. It's boring and greasy and crabby. Her first act is ordering new uniforms. Not my preferred style, but alright. Next, a complete makeover into the Cuddly Krab. She actually brainstorms new names with SpongeBob. A team leader? Working with their colleagues? Whoa! And she even compliments SpongeBob. This is the first time in the list someone has been nice to him with no ulterior motives like greed. By the time the Krusty Krab is morphed into a teen hangout, the menu gets gutted. Krabby Patties are swapped for salads. This is arguably Pearl's worst move, but again, we know she's doing this to get fired. So she was aware of the Krabby Patties' popularity and took initiative. It's a shame it was to get the boot, but she still put effort into it. Assuming she handled the decorations, Pearl also has a knack for interior design. Even if her plan was to fail, Pearl did attract a sizable customer base. Imagine what she could do if she actually tried. Maybe I'm being too optimistic about a teenager as a boss, but I think there's potential. There's also a bit from the series Pitch Bible, basically the origin point for this entire series. Pearl's character bio features this description. Possessing the biggest brain in Bikini Bottom, she is quite probably its most intelligent citizen. Blah 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 stuff about boys. She's gifted in math, so naturally her father tries to interest her in the exciting life of restaurant bookkeeping. Pearl's more interested in fads than counting french fries. Pearl is smart, she just chooses not to engage with any of the dull adult life tasks. Honestly, I can't blame her. Wait, since when does Krabs do bookkeeping? Alright, I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off now. I don't think SpongeBob SquarePants would be a good manager. Yet. Out of everyone in this list, SpongeBob has been the least consistent with overhead responsibilities. Sometimes he can hold down the fort perfectly, like in SpongeBob's Place from Season 10. Other times he struggles with doing basic chores like house sitting. While not directly related to his employment, many other episodes showcase critical skills SpongeBob lacks. He fails to tell friends no in treats or overbooked. And the poor guy endures way too much of Squidward's unemployment in Can You Spare a Dime? A good team lead knows when to stop and review. SpongeBob himself is a specialist. He's a great guy to have on the team, not overseeing it. Now, I do have to give props for his cooperation. Sponge will work with pretty much anyone, like Plankton in the second movie. He will listen to you, at bare minimum. That's already way better than every single boss on this list. But then that pushes us to his naivete. He will listen to anyone, which paves the way for anyone to have a say, even when they shouldn't. I've waited long enough. We need to have a discussion about Gullible Pants. Mr. Krabs breaks a nail and leaves SpongeBob in charge. I want you to understand, everything that I'm about to say occurs within 15 minutes. 15. Squidward quickly seizes this opportunity to manipulate SpongeBob to do his bidding. Besides letting him doze off, what's the first thing acting manager SquarePants does? He ropes in some stranger and lets him cook at the grill. Did SpongeBob make him wash his fins? No. He didn't even teach the guy anything, just handed over a spatula and let the guy go ham. Okay, I hear you arguing. Yes, at the end, our random, unpaid employee does end up making a Krabby Patty meal. Let's defy all rational reason and give SpongeBob the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he has an eye for potential fry cooks, like this red shirt. Fine, I will give him that. What's next?
Your hot, steamy, juicy Krabby Patty and a large drink. Enjoy!
I really called this guy the Da Vinci of hamburgers, didn't I? He then trashes the Krusty Krab, including sticking gum under tables and sloshing around murky sewage water across the walls. Oh yeah, and he holds the customers hostage. Again, 15 minutes. I mentioned at the start that Sponge isn't a good choice yet. I can make fun of all of his failures and screw-ups, but SpongeBob has one incredible skill unique to this list. No, not having two left hands. Adaptability. SpongeBob SquarePants learns. He constantly grows and tries his best to understand new things. Long term, I think Mr. SquarePants would be the best choice. I'd have to be crazy to not mention the end of the first movie with him happily fulfilling any and all Krusty Krab 2 chores as a manager. He earned that promotion. I refuse to belittle him for that. Give SpongeBob some time and he'll make a great leader. It just might take a while. What is there to say about Squidward? I mean, I just got through Gullible Pants, which was partially Squid's fault. I could talk about him flaking during Squid's day off. I could talk about his horrible demeanor during Chum Fricassee. I could talk about any time he worked at the Krusty Krab. Frankly, I don't think there's anything new I can add to this conversation. Yes, you, the viewer, already know Squidward's a bad choice. I don't have to spend 5 minutes describing that to you. Who do we got next? Larry. Everyone's favorite gym bro. Except me. I seem to be in the minority of the fandom. I've been anti-lobster since day one. For this stupid analysis, Larry is the foil to Pearl. They share a lot of similarities, most notably having a single episode dedicated to their managerial talents. Say hi to Season 11's Larry the Floor Manager. I wonder what it's about. Instead of beanbags, rugs, and salads, Larry brings in dumbbells, treadmills, and salads. He and his buttery muscles shape the Krusty Krab into a new gym, complete with power shakes too. For all the negatives someone like SpongeBob or Carl had, they at least didn't spark a civil war in the dining hall. I'm talking a full-on melee. The poor customers just want some greasy grub, but get forced out by all of Larry's weightlifter friends. Eventually, SpongeBob kicks Larry out. He was not a good manager and was only hired due to his, once again, buttery muscles. Bad choice. Wait, zoom? Enhance? Isn't that... Oh no.
Now, Squidward, you wouldn't want to have to talk to human resources. Would you?
It counts. He was the manager of the alternate universe Krusty Krab in the Algae's Always Greener. It counts. Funnily enough, I'd say Mr. Plankton is one of the best choices here. Turns out, when he doesn't have his eye on the formula, Plankton is fairly chill. Am I a little biased due to Algae being one of my favorite episodes ever? Maybe. Upon using the life-switching doohickey, Sheldon J. Plankton swaps roles with Eugene Krabs and winds up being a better boss, than his sworn enemy. Besides one teeny instance of wanting to boil a customer in hot oil, he's nice and never talks down to anyone. SpongeBob demands a performance review. Plankton tells him the patties have too much sauce, but it's no big deal. A customer shows a disgusting blight of a patty. Plankton instantly calls out to Squidward. Mr. Plankton shows care, both to his employees and customer base. He's mostly polite, recognizes when a situation is blown out of proportion, and is willing to bend the rules when necessary. I like Mr. Plankton. Alright, with all that out of the way, who is the best manager for the Krusty Krab? Is it the status quo Eugene, the soulless Carl, the fiery Pearl, the young SpongeBob, whatever Squidward is, the Beefcake Larry, or the only other positive option? That's right, the best manager for the Krusty Krab is Mr. Claus!
Hey there, Sponge Time! On account of it being your day off tomorrow, I thought I'd let you go home early. You know, I give you a day off every week for a reason, son.
I've been B-Tan. Thanks for watching.